So I wanted to understand from your perspective, because you have worked in the different areas of finance. So why did you chose FP&A, and what makes you stick to this role for so long?
It's very much possible for a fresher to get placed in FP&A just like he has the chances of getting placed in any other finance domain.
So if I ask you what ideally on a day-to-day basis you would be doing as a associate director for the FP&A. So if you can just summarize us that what is your day-to-day looks like on an average.
You know, an academic degree like CFA,
Mhm.
CPA, CA, it does help you because you are more used to seeing the numbers.
Now, sir, if somebody is a fresher and he wants to join FP&A team, so first of all, how he can join and what would ideally be his roadmap in the entire journey? Hello, guys. Thank you very much to join again our podcast. Today we have with us Mr. Gaurav Sharma. He is an experienced finance professional with over 17 years of experience into financial planning and analysis, and he's currently an associate director in a big firm. So he's going to be talking to us about his journey, and also he's going to be telling us about what is the FP&A, which is financial planning and analysis as a whole, is a team. What do they do, and how you as an audience can become a part of this team in the companies. So we're going to be exploring that side also, and also sir's journey in the industry. So, sir, thank you very much for joining us and taking out time for the podcast.
My
So,
pleasure, Ganesh. Thank you so much.
and we're going to be starting out with a series of questions. So, for the benefit of the audience, if you can tell us what you're doing in the current role and what has been your journey into the finance industry in gist.
Sure, sure. So I started my career back, I think, in 2005 with Airtel.
Okay.
Mostly, working as a back-end accounts officer, and then
Hmm.
I moved on to join other companies, Genpact, Infosys, BPM, Intercontinental Hotels Group, Innova Solutions.
Okay.
These are few. I'm currently working as an associate director for financial planning and analysis for this company called Pyramid Consulting. It's based
Okay.
out of Noida. So yeah, my job primarily here is to head the FP&A function
Okay.
for our company here, and I've been from last 3 plus year, around 3 years. I'm also active LinkedIn content creator,
Yeah.
and I also have a YouTube channel and my Instagram account. So,
Hmm.
to the best of my ability, I try to help the aspiring job seekers who wish to make a career in finance
Right.
to give them the knowledge that I have gained through all my years of experience.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. So the second part that you mentioned with respect to your the other side that you're doing with respect to guiding. So we'll have a quick series of question on that also at the end. Now, for somebody who's new to finance, okay. So I wanted to understand from your perspective, because you have worked in the different areas of finance. So why did you chose FP&A, and what makes you stick to this role for so long?
That's a good question, Ganesh. So I didn't start with FP&A. I started mainly with record to report, and then I also
Okay.
tried my hands on the accounts payable, accounts receivable, bit of payrolling as well. So I
Okay.
tasted different dishes from the finance menu. But then when I landed the FP&A job, I found it more, I would say, mentally fulfilling because it involves a lot of analytical ability. I saw a lot of scope and future in this particular profile,
Okay.
and the big thing is it lets you work closely with the higher management. It
Right.
gives you a visibility of the your organization's scope. So that's
Hmm.
what attracted me to FP&A profile, and I thought to sticking with it, presumably for the rest of my life.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So, sir, the next question that I'm asking is from the student who is preparing for any certification like CFA or FRM, or he's in college. The only first problem that I see is that a lot of people are not aware about FP&A. So, for them, if you can tell in simple language what exactly this team does and how important is this team for the organization.
Sure, sure. So, Ganesh, every company, every
Hmm.
business, whether big or small, has money involved in it, has funds, capital involved in it. And whenever you have large amounts of money, which is in most of the cases, it's not your money, it is either the VC's money or the shareholders' money, or
Right.
maybe even if it is your, it's your hard earned saving. So, whenever there is money involved, it is always important and it becomes essential to plan on how are you going to spend that money, how are you going to basically run your business for the next 3, 5, 10 years.
Right.
So now that we've established that planning is an essential part of the entire business, this is where FP&A team comes into play.
Okay.
We we take uh, we actively participate in the planning process. We prepare the budget. We also, once the budget is prepared, we keep a track of whether we are following the budget or not, how far or close are we in terms of achieving the target that we have set, and with regards to how we are performing currently, where are we going to end up with. So this is essentially, in broader sense, on a macro level, FP&A team does. This is then further broken down with to reports and budgeting and forecasting and reporting and all those ad hoc activities.
Right, right, right. Wonderful. So, sir, this is the broader work of the team. So, if I ask you what ideally on a day-to-day basis you would be doing as a associate director for the FP&A. So, if you can just summarize us that what is your day-to-day looks like on an average.
Uh, my day to day is if I can sum it up in one word, it is unpredictable. Uh, I, I I log into my laptop thinking that I'll be finishing this and this thing, but then there's a lot of requests coming in and everything. But yeah, I mean, what we do on a day to day basis is we review the actuals, which is essentially the transactions which have gone into the books. We review the actuals and then we compare it with what we have budgeted, whether it is in line with we budgeted or not. If not,
Okay.
we try to find out the reasons for the variances, maybe through our own digging or by contacting the respective department, and then essentially prepare a report for the management that basis the rate that we are going, where will we end up with. So we normally do an analysis of the actuals as compared to the budget, and also at the same time, while we are doing this, we make something which is called forecast. So forecast is essentially where are you seeing the next part of the year, the rest of the year, to look
Okay.
like. So this is essentially our day to day look like. But then it also depends on the time of the month that we are in. Sometimes we
Okay.
support the month end closing, sometimes we have dedicated reports, we have defined reports that we need to send out. So
Okay.
depending on the part of the month that we are in, we also perform those activities of reporting, month end closing, and supporting. In most cases, we are also involved in pricing. So yeah, the list is endless and it keeps on growing by the day.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, sir, if somebody is a fresher and he wants to join FP&A team, so first of all, how he can join and what would ideally be his roadmap in the entire journey?
So there is a bigger misconception that that freshers, uh, it's really difficult for freshers to get hired in FP&A. I would
Okay.
say with the FP&A field growing, with this domain growing, it's very much possible for a fresher to get placed in FP&A, just like he has the chances of getting placed in any other finance domain. Now, what are the skill set that he should possess? Number one is, I would say, data storytelling. So this is what we assess when we interview someone, that how much can he read the data and interpret it in business language so that it can be explained to a layman. That is one. The second, obviously, is the analytical mind. If he can see, he can compare two numbers and then think of the possible reasons for variances, or whatever story is are those number telling. So
Okay.
that analytical mindset is something we look for. And third, which is the most important, is obviously the communication and presentation, because in FP&A department, a lot of time you may have to present it to senior individuals. Maybe if you're a fresher, you may not get a chance to present it to senior executives, but at least you'll be presenting your analysis to your supervisor. So communication here becomes important. So
Right.
these are broadly the skill set that we look for. In terms of career roadmap, it starts with the entry level analyst or associate, whatever we call it. Then
Mhm.
it gradually moves to senior analyst, process specialist, and then maybe lead. Then it moves on to the junior management position, assistant manager,
Okay.
and then the senior management position.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Because see, sir, from my experience also when I was working with Kotak, so we had also had an FP&A team. Over there, the team
Mhm.
was small, but again, they were sitting right outside the MD's cabin because they had to give a lot of
Okay.
information. What is the sales happening? What are the reports that are coming out? So they had huge amount of exposure also with respect to talking to the decision makers in the company. So I think so. This is one part which students
What
can,
I can ask? What year was it? Your experience with Kotak?
I think so. I was in 2020, uh, 2013 to 2015. Kotak
2013. Yeah,
Insurance.
so around 10, 11 years ago. I'm sure that small FP&A team might have grown to some
Yes,
extent by
yes,
now.
yes, yes. The business
So
has grown, so obviously they need people because they were involved into budgeting also with respect to how many people a particular team can hire, what is the overall amount the company is going to spend on a team. So that kind of decision makings they were also involved into. Now, sir,
absolutely.
any specific tool if somebody wish to join in, okay?
Mhm.
So should they learn any specific tool which is generally used into the FP&A area apart from Excel? Because I feel that
Mhm.
Excel has to be there by default, but any
Mhm.
specific tool?
Absolutely. So I mean, let me cover Excel first. So I know Excel goes by default, but then uh, many people think that if we know the basic functions, it's fine. I would recommend, as the competition is growing and as the awareness is growing, try
Mhm.
and learn the advanced function of Excel. That is where you actually stand out from other candidates. Second, the most common tools used in FP&A are, they keep on evolving, but I would say Power BI,
Right.
Anaplan, you have Hyperion, you
Okay.
also have some more, SAP is also used in majority of the companies. So these are some of the most commonly used tools. I would say pick one because you may be tempted to learn all the tools, which I would say it would take a lot of time and effort. I won't suggest it because ultimately you get to learn when you work. So don't
Okay.
focus a lot of on too many tools, but yes, just pick one or two tools. Maybe SQL is something. SQL, Python can also be good in terms of beginner level. uh, yeah, mainly these are the things. But if I also want to add that there is a growing trend of financial modeling, so which is not essentially a tool, but it's a good skill to have. So
Okay.
if you are really thinking of building a career in FP&A, I would say go for financial modeling. That would also help you in other fields like investment banking and everything. So
Right.
that can also be a good startup thing when you wish to acquire a new skill.
Okay. Okay. And sir, what is the trend that you see right now? Is it only MBA finance who joins the FP&A roles, or do you also see CFAs entering and joining? And what makes them slightly different? If you have seen any some straight traits from that side.
Well, that's the beauty of FP&A. It does not limit itself to a particular degree, but rather a particular skill set. From my experience, I have seen chartered accountants, CFA, CPAs, MBAs in FP&A domain. I have also seen individuals from non-finance background, non-accounting
Okay.
background in FP&A, and they're doing great. So individuals from, I would say, I mean, I've worked with an individual. He was BTech, and
Okay.
we have data analysts in our team. We have a lot of other folks in our team who are doing great in FP&A. But yeah, you know, an academic degree like CFA,
Hmm.
CPA, CA, it does help you because you are more used to seeing the numbers in your day-to-day life,
Right.
and then you have this habit of making a story out of what you're seeing. So that skill set really helps, and obviously any academic, it gives a seal to your competency. So that's the second advantage. So again, my advice, anybody who's pursuing a course, my advice would be to focus on completing that course, because ultimately that is going to help you. Many people, they do have this question. They come to me that I'm pursuing this course, but alongside I'm thinking of doing a job. My advice would be, if you don't have a major financial obligation,
Hmm.
complete the course. You have your entire life to
To
work
work.
to do the job that you're aspiring for. Yeah.
Right, right, wonderful. So, sir, now the next question is with respect to your journey with Toastmasters. So, Toastmaster is for public speaking, and it is a which helps you to gain public speaking leadership skill set. So, how much important you have seen that in your growth in FP&A and in finance, the contribution of Toastmasters, basically.
Well, Ganesh, for some reason, always enjoyed public speaking. Maybe because, when I was in school days, I won a competition, and not really won. I came third in a speech competition, and I was
Hmm.
really happy. I thought, I really had something in me. Later on, I found out that I came third, and there were only four participants. So, but it gave me a good, a confidence that I can speak in public and I can get recognized. So whenever, as I was growing up in my career, whenever I
Hmm.
would get an opportunity to to speak in a larger audience, to address a larger audience, I would do that. That's the reason I enrolled for Toastmasters also, and I've had a very good experience. It really enhances your public speaking skills. And as I said at the start of our podcast, that communication is one of the essential key in FP&A. You get to address a larger audience. You don't not only get to address a larger audience. There are other aspects to it. You have to understand. You have to make a mental image of what they want to listen from you, and accordingly you customize your speech, or your subject, your topic. So that all these experience from platforms like Toastmaster, Taskmaster,
Hmm.
etc., or Josh Club, it helps you in developing those skill set, and they ultimately helps you in your presentation skill during spin.
Okay. So, sir, one more question which is related to the initial discussion. So, when you made your introduction, you said that you are constantly now creating content for LinkedIn and also you're guiding. So, if you can guide us, tell us what exactly, how do you guide? And that is the first question. And second is, what are the major pain points you have seen from your experience of talking to new people? What are the major pain points they have?
Well, to answer your first part of your question, Ganesh, I I broadly cover two things in my post. First is obviously the knowledge about the insights about FP&A.
Hmm.
While we have really very good content creators on LinkedIn, especially for FP&A domain, but I kind of make my content different from them in a way that I try to make it in as simple language as possible. Because,
Okay.
like I said, I strongly believe that if you can't explain in simpler terms to a layman, you don't know it well enough. So, on my post, I try to simplify the complex topics in simpler language. That is
Hmm.
one. Second is, since I'm also, I'm a people's manager. So many times I wear this hiring a recruiter's hat, because I have to interview people. I have to look at the CVs. I hire people a lot. So from my experience of hiring, I've seen that there are many mistakes which job seekers are making, and I just
Hmm.
wanted to create an awareness around it, that these are the mistakes that you're making. Because I strongly believe we don't have a dedicated platform where job seekers are educated that
Right.
the mode has changed and this is what you need to do and everything. While we have platforms, we have growing platforms growing nowadays, but still, I'm doing my part. So yeah, that is what I do. I forgot the second part of your question. I'm
So,
sorry.
so, so, what is the major pain point that you have seen students or people who are
Okay.
connecting with you or who are a part of your course? What are the major pain points they have?
That's a good question, and I'll have to be careful, because I don't want to offend people. But yeah, there are times when I felt that job seekers, they have this sense of entitlement, that they are entitled to get something. So when we were young, when we were looking for jobs, we were ready to we were completely flexible, and we never
Mm.
felt like we are doing a favor on people. Not all the job seekers right now, but I see people, they feel that they should be getting something, which is not the case. It's always, one is picked from 100 candidates. So you have to stand out. Second is, people misunderstand when somebody says that, uh, make connections over LinkedIn. So
Mm.
making connections is not only sending message that, hi, I need a job, please give me a job.
Yes.
And a lot of people do that, and when they don't get a response, they get disheartened. uh, Probably not their fault, nobody told them, but I try to create awareness as much as possible. Developing a bond is a long term
Mm.
effort. You can't
Agree.
expect someone to message today and get a job offer or a referral from him tomorrow, because even if he wants, he may have hundreds of people messaging him. I'm telling you by my own experience. So
Right.
that is where you pick certain individuals, certain companies,
Hmm.
pick the individuals from those companies and start developing bond from them, not from the purpose of getting something today, but for the purpose of knowing them and gaining insights from them, and then maybe in future reaching out to that person for help. So it's a long term effort. It's not a
Right.
short term thing where I could just throw in my CVs and expect to get hired. So this is what job seekers need to understand.
Okay, wonderful, sir. So I'll connect to this last point that you mentioned. Now, I also tell people a lot of time that don't ask for a job, ask for guidance. At least understand what role they are into, where the role fits, and then once or twice you have spoken to that person, then there is higher chances that the person will help you out in terms of job search, or if there is any opening in his company, he will at least put his CV, because there might be so many requests that he might be getting. And second thing, why would somebody take an effort to get you a job, right? It is not his responsibility. So you have to be slightly tactical while reaching out to people and build a real connection. That is what you also said, build real connections. So that is very
Absolutely.
interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm moving towards the next situation, sir. If you can share any challenging situation that you encountered in your career till now, which might be helpful for the audience to learn something, some challenging situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this happened in 2020 when we were all suffering
Covid.
from COVID, the greater COVID. So I was working with this company which was into the hospitality sector, and
Hmm.
obviously the hospitality sector got a big hit at that time. So I was
Right.
laid off. This was, I remember the date. It was 22nd July 2020 that I got
Okay.
the news that I've been laid off. And that time, layoff was, it was considerably a new thing in
Yeah,
the
in the
Indian
Indian market.
environment. Yeah, in the Indian market, we got heard of layoffs and people getting fired and everything, but we never really experienced it, especially at such a mass level. We experienced it for the first time in
Right.
2020. And to make the situation worse, everybody was struggling. So it's not that only my company had laid off and I could reach out to my friends and they can get me hired. Everybody was struggling. They were either struggling to save their job, or
Hmm.
they have, like me, they've lost their job and searching for it. So that is one of the most, I would say, anxious time of my career. I never expected it, especially, I thought, and the indication I was going to get, that I was doing good in my job. So, but what I did, that was 22nd July is when I got the news, and we had the last working day as 31st of August. Luckily, or I would say through God's grace and through some of my efforts, I had an offer letter in my hand on 25th of August. So
Wow.
within 1 month, I was able to secure a job, and that's when I started the content creation on LinkedIn, because my wife
Okay.
told me that now that you've some few things have worked in your favor, why don't you share it with everyone, because everyone is struggling and this would certainly help. So what I did was a few action points. I started customizing my CV basis the job requirements, which is
Okay.
another thing that I always advise job seekers to do. So I had folders, and each folder had separate CV by the name of each company that I've applied. So,
Okay.
and not that I was completely lying, it's just that I was prioritizing few skills and
Right.
not giving that weightage to some of the skills basis the job description. So that is
Hmm.
important. Second is I reached out to each and everyone. There was no ego, no shame. I didn't feel that I should not be talking to him, or this and that person. I reached out to each and every one, and things eventually worked. One of my ex-manager, he referred me to a recruiter who then, he was a very nice person who then helped me, and eventually I got a job. So when you are in need, don't worry, don't have this ego in hand. It is you who need a job, right? So reach out to people, don't hesitate. Third is, what I did was I prepared extensively for interview. I sought a mentor's help. I did mock interviews. Don't hesitate to reach out to senior mentors. Nowadays, you have everybody. People are easily reachable on LinkedIn. If you just
Right.
ask for help, that I have this interview coming up, or I just need general guidance. In 2020, it was not the case. Even then, I reached out to industry experts asking for a help, and they were kind enough to lend a helping hand. So third thing is, the more homework you do, the more confidence you grow. So whenever you are thinking of a job hunt, start preparing from today. Even if it is 2 months from now, or 6 months from now, or a year
Right.
from now, don't wait for things to get ugly, and then you are in a desperate position, and then you are preparing simultaneously and also applying. Right. So don't wait for things. Start preparing yourself now, so that when the time comes, you are just focused on job hunting.
Perfect. Perfect. I really like the pointers that you made with respect to the customization point, which a lot of people don't do because they are not aware about it, basically, because every company is looking out for a different skill set when they are opening up the opportunity. And the second and third point, do not be afraid to talk to people, reach out to people. And generally what I have also seen, that when people want to change job, that is where they start becoming active on LinkedIn. That is where
Absolutely. Yeah.
that is where they
Yeah.
start reaching out to people. So assuming that okay, now people will help me, and once they get the job they can stop. So
They forget. Yeah.
yeah, so that is
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, that is not a long term approach. It's basically a banded solution that you are using, but this will never help you to move to a new role or exciting role which you might not have planned that way.
Absolutely.
So really, really interesting conversation. I wanted to ask you an advice for the young generation who wants to go into FP&A, but I think so you have already covered that in the pointer that we talked about. So thank you, Gaurav sir, for taking out time and talking to us. And this interview will definitely open up the view for a lot of candidates who are new, okay, into the area of finance with respect to FP&A, that there is a job opportunity out there, and these roles are available in a lot of companies. So definitely this interview will help them and motivate them into the right area. So thank you very much for taking out time, sir.
Thanks so much, Ganesh. So for all those who are watching, if in case you need
Hmm.
further help, you can reach out to me via my LinkedIn
Yes.
account. It's Gaurav Sharma, Associate Director, Pyramid Consulting, or maybe just
Right.
type Gaurav Sharma FP&A Professional. Hopefully, LinkedIn would throw up my name at the top. So yeah, please feel free to connect,
And
and I'll be happy to help. Thank you
yes.
so much, Ganesh.
Yeah.
It's been a nice conversation, and the efforts you are making to educate the job seekers, I really appreciate that. Like I said, we have a lot of good people nowadays who are actively doing it, and people should take advantage of it.
Right, right. One final point for my side also. So, sir is taking, for the audience, sir is taking workshops on FP&A. Somebody who wants to understand what is FP&A, wants to grow. It's a master class that he conducts, 1 hour, 2 hour on weekends. So you guys can also join. For that, you can reach out to sir, definitely. Right.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Ganesh. Bye.